Hi guys, I'm Elize,
And I'm Olof, and we are Amaranthe.
and you're watching Age of Metal.
Oh, God.
There are, of course, those who do not want us to speak. We spin the wall like a pinball machine. We are parts of a life in abundance. Day and night, we wish movies for real. And what's behind the screen is art and glass.
Like a satellite, transmitting me from there. I am the voice of the next generation. Completely digital, create synthetic art. Start a revolution now. You'll never have to cry, 'cause the future is old. You can never die and you never grow old. But everything surrounding you is digital.
Well, Olof and Elize,
Yes.
we're back here in Scottsdale one more time because this is a different location, but pretty much same town.
Mhm.
It's been 2 years since the last time that you guys came here to
It has.
Scottsdale,
That's true.
and the last time, well, you guys were on tour at the beginning of the year. How's been this part of the tour so far? That one at the beginning of the year was kind of different, right? Different.
Yeah, I mean, it was a lot more bigger cities, more major territories, major markets. Now we're hitting, it's almost like third-rate markets. Of course, they're very important to us, so it feels a bit, bad to call it third-rate, but it's pretty much places we haven't played before. But it's been overwhelming, actually. We played a few places that I've never even heard of before that had, hundreds and hundreds of people. So, of course, that's a great thing. So,
Any new cities that you guys enjoyed so far? Kind of like
Yes.
never touched before.
San Diego. we love that city.
That was like, yeah, but that was also because we had time to actually go somewhere. To
You
the
guys
beach.
went down to the beach.
To Mission
Yes.
Beach, yeah, that was real
Nice.
nice.
And what else? We were very impressed by, sometimes in the beginning, not the tour. Where was that?
We started in Atlanta. There we've been before a couple of times. What else did we do in the beginning?
Or maybe it was towards the middle.
It all flows together after 4 weeks on the road. Yeah, there's been a lot of nice places. A couple of not so nice ones.
Oh, okay.
Like the outskirts of Detroit. It's not the nicest place
okay.
ever.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
I
we
can
love
imagine.
Detroit. Of course, we love Detroit.
But we didn't have play show there, we just had the day off.
That's an interesting place to have a day off, huh?
Yes!
Very uplifting for the spirit.
Now, the set list. This time around, you guys came with a new album and an acoustic album.
Right.
The B-sides, which is kind of interesting when you contrast it with the new album.
Yeah.
So, are we gonna see any kind of acoustic movement tonight?
No?
Unfortunately not.
Sorry
Actually, we
about
thought
that.
about it. That's probably something we're gonna do in the future when we get older and more tired and we're not have the same energy we have now. We're gonna have that as an excuse to sit down on a chair and be a little bit more relaxed.
How many songs from the new album are included on this set list?
It's the majority of the songs. I don't know the exact figure, but I would guess around 6 or 7, maybe even 8, something like that. It's 20 songs in total, so it's a pretty
Yeah.
massive set.
Well, you guys have this year 2 paternal leaves in the band.
Yes.
Hendrik
Lots of
and
babies.
now Jake. How's been compensated that with touring? I mean, how the people perception of the band, knowing that at different places is not going to be the full band, and actually that kind of affects the United States this year because the beginning of the year was Hendrik and now it was Jake.
Yeah, which is very sad in one way, but I don't know, I guess that our fans are just very accepting and nice, so no one has complained about it. And also, of course, the replacers have been very good.
I think that's the main thing. Exactly.
That's probably the main thing, yeah. Yeah, if we would bring someone who did a really bad job, then we would all be ashamed and the audience would probably hate it, but both Olle and now Chris Adam did a fantastic job, so
That's
Nobody was very sad about it, and also I know that we're like played a lot of radio. Maybe people even actually don't pay so much attention to actually how the band members look like, or they just recognize the songs. They see, you know, the band comes, and so people even call Chris Adam Jake like many times. He's like, "Hey Jake,"
Same.
and then he's like, "Well, actually, I'm Chris Adam, but okay." Yeah, you know that so. We probably need to think a little bit more like that in the future. I think it's not so good. I mean, I wouldn't be so happy if Kiss went on tour and then there was.
I think they have done that in the past.
That's exactly
Exactly
what they're
the
doing
fact.
right now, actually.
Yeah.
As well.
What?
Yeah, there's
Okay, I'm
two
sorry.
members that are not.
Apparently, there is just some kind of standard that bands exchange their singers.
No, the singers are actually
musicians.
the same.
Yeah.
Both of the singers are the same, but the other musicians.
But I'm thinking about Nightwish too. They also switched. Already had two different and
Three different.
Five including you, five including Elize.
Oh yeah, that show in, was it Portland or it was in Seattle?
Denver.
Denver, yeah.
Denver, there you go. Now, talking about radio, Massive Addictive was #1 on the hit seekers. It went just straight on that. And it's been 7 weeks in the #1 spot in Cyrus.
Really?
So, I mean, how that happened? How that happened to get that album up there and having like a song like Drop Dead Cynical played after events like NFL games and, you know, NHL games?
I can say it cost a lot of money. $1 million. That's how much it cost.
Did you guys, when the album was released, you guys ever thought that was gonna be so huge acceptance in the United States?
Not at all. Actually, we're working with a new head office at Spineform, which is our record label worldwide, and they have a lot of new, very talented people working in New York City.
Yeah.
So we had some high hopes, especially when they came over to Denmark to listen to the new album, and they sat down and the main guy, who's called Jonas, he was very specific. Like, I'm gonna tell you, yeah. There we go. So I don't have to do that again. He was very specific on the point that, you know, you guys need like that one song, that one hit that's gonna, you know, sell the album somehow and, you know, become this huge song. So you could tell that he was, you know, making plans already. And when he heard Drop Dead Cynical, he's like, okay, that's exactly what I need to work with. So it was really nice to see that kind of reaction from the label and that kind of support. We never had that before, even if, you know, Spinefarm are an excellent label. We've always been really happy with them. It was a different level of support now for the Massive album. So in terms of exposure and radio plays and that whole thing, it's been a hell of a ride. And it's also, when it comes to the album sales, I guess we're like around 10 times, you know, that of the Nexus here in the States. So it's kind of overwhelming.
Yeah, it's very actually fulfilling when you have a goal in your mind, which I had when I started to write the songs. I thought about, you know, big Super Bowl events or sport events when I was in the writing process, because that was my dream. And I always focus my goals on my dreams, and I'm stay true to myself. My heart is true, and you know, to see that actually make sense in the end, and that you can reach your goals. You know, just having that 100% focus on one thing. And that was to actually kind of trying to get a success here in the States, because we really like to tour here.
Now, what do you think is the appeal that those songs, that this album special, has towards the American fans?
I think that for me it's very easy actually. I listen so much to radio. I can hear, you know, I guess everybody, it's very obvious. Like if you listen to South American music, you know, if you listen to Indian music, Japanese hit songs, European hit songs, there's like some specific sound that speaks to different kind of people. And you have to kind of dig into that history and try to, you know, just be probably sensitive towards what you think is the sound that these people like. And also, of course, how the industry works. It's not just like a coincidence. You have to actually think a little bit before you work.
What about you, Olof?
I think it's just there might be something about the the album it's a little bit more direct, and it's a little bit more powerful in some ways, and it's a little bit less complicated. And I wouldn't say it's not simpler. In some ways, it's a lot more advanced when it comes to the actual composing. But I guess the two first albums have a distinctly more European sound to it, and it's, I mean, while it might have been in the back of our heads that it's not a bad thing to appeal to an American audience, because once again we really like touring here. At the same time, it's also something that when you look back on the writing process, which I did just a couple of days ago, I was listening through a lot of the old demos for the Massive Addictive record. You could see that it was starting somewhere a lot closer to the Nexus record, and then it kind of gradually grew into this sound that is very distinct on the Massive Addictive record. So I think it's just like Elize said, I think it's a result of visualizing a certain goal and realizing your dreams and working towards that. Actually,
It's interesting because I found the album quite right, and after I finished listening to the album, when the video from Drop Dead Cynical came out, it was just like everywhere, the same as True. I mean, the two of those videos are really bright, in contrast to the old videos from the Nexus.
Yeah.
So how do you guys put that into those videos? Because I mean, the video from Drop Dead Cynical is really visual, and it's really pretty much close-ups of every one of you guys. So how you guys, that process came to put that song within the video?
You're talking about Digital World now. Digital World with the...
Yeah. Actually, yes. I'm sorry.
No, well, I mean, we spoke about it, like what kind of video should we do on this, and I came up with the idea that we should have used the same theme that we had when we took the pictures for the album, and everybody kind of agreed that would be a cool idea. And also, it's because that's not been done in metal for a while. And we're trying to find unique things all the time. And that's the same thing with the True video. I mean, like, ballet versus metal versus hockey. I mean, well, it's about reaching goals and dreams in life and stay true to yourself. Well, you know about this because he was probably the main composer on that song. But we just...
No, yeah, it was very important for us to make a different kind of video, because like up till I guess the Invincible video, it was very Hollywood kind of themed, and a lot of running away from agents and stuff like that. But and of course, Drop Dead Cynical is like what's it called, MMA based, like ultimate fighting kind of theme. But I think that everybody, just like Elize said, agreed that we wanted something completely different for Digital World. And like you're saying, it's very bright for being a metal video, and it's very clean. And it was a very simple process. I think most of the effort was actually in the post-production for that video. But I think it contrasts really nicely. I think that these three videos for the Massive Addictive record are a lot more contrasting to each other than maybe the previous albums. And I especially like the True video as well, even if I'm not in it.
Like of course we have a lot of thoughts behind video. One of the reasons was also for me, because I was a little tired of people talking about my body all the time.
Okay.
And that is one of the reasons the band is big or whatever. I don't know. It's just like a weird side people have on females in general.
Yeah,
it's not weird. I mean, we appreciate that people like female body, but that's not why I'm doing music. The goal is to actually reach out with some kind of message to people. So that's why I thought it was so cool that I just
and I think
here and eyes and face, and and Johan shows he has like a topless, but nobody ever comments on that. So.
And it's interesting to see you doing ballet, because I know that you did that.
That's the thing also, like, I mean, I always used my body to express something. I never used it to be some kind of, I don't know...
Object.
Yeah, or sexy, like, fuck me kind of person.
Gotcha. But definitely it's quite interesting, and the contrast between the Nexus and Massive Addictive is just... And it shows us not just on the album, but on the videos as well. Now, moving towards Breaking Point B-Sides. It's an interesting album from the point of view that the songs, they come from Massive Addictive, but they are stripped of everything. It's kind of like the bare bones of the songs. How came to the realization of the idea of making an acoustic album?
It was actually something that was growing since we released the first album back in 2011. You always need like these, bonus tracks for Japan, and the label suggested to do acoustic versions, and we're like, okay, absolutely, because just like you say, it's stripped down, and it's kind of the core of the songs. You have the chord progressions, you have the vocal lines, you have the lyrics, you have all the most important parts except the guitar solos, which is the most important part, of course. No, jokes aside, it's I think it's a very nice way to show the soul and the core of the songs. So we did, I think, 2 bonus tracks for First Records, 2 bonus tracks for the Nexus, and 2 bonus tracks for Massive Addictive, which were acoustic ones. So it felt nice to put them all together, because they were kind of spread out all over the place in iTunes, and Spotify, and whatever. Special editions, and it was, for a fan who wanted to hear more of that side of the band, it was kind of difficult to locate that. So it was a nice thing to have that released together, because it fits together in a very nice way, even if there's like 4 years apart between some of the songs.
Yeah, it's interesting to hear a song like Amaranthe on acoustic. It's just so different. You know the song and you recall, but when you hear it as an acoustic part, like, oh, it sounds different. Besides, you push your voice, and I think you push Jake's voice a little bit more on the acoustic versions.
Yeah, it's because the key is
keys,
different.
Yeah. Now, you guys gonna be opening for King Diamond in Finland next June.
Yes.
The contrast, King Diamond, really dark, Amaranthe, a little bit more light. How you guys feel about it? How that's gonna happen?
Well, it's gonna be very fun. I don't think that they're very dark. I think that they're just theatrical, like funny kind of characters.
Okay.
Absolutely, and
I don't think it's so serious.
we're super excited about that, because the funny part is that Andy LaRock, who plays guitar in that band, produced my first album with Dragonland all the way back in 2000, 15 years ago. And it was the first time that Elize recorded an album. He was also the producer on a Falconer record.
Exactly. That's so fun.
And also Jake's first album was produced by Angela Rock as well. So this is the first time that we're gonna share the stage with him and King Diamond. So that's gonna be real nice, after 15 years.
Wow.
That's gonna be awesome. Yeah, I was in his studio also like a couple of months ago recording the Gus G song. That's Angela Rock who produced that vocal.
Nice.
So.
Now, closing up, what is next for Amaranthe after this album for 2016? I know this album, this tour, this year's album is over. You guys gonna go home, holidays. What is next for 2016?
I guess
Writing.
Yeah, exactly.
Writing.
Go into the writing process, and because we've been brainstorming a lot, separately, most of all so far. But we had a couple of times on the bus that we were just talking about a vision, for the next album. And already it's starting to get really exciting to see what we can do with that. So that's going to be, of course, the main focus is going to be, to write the best album ever in the entirety of the universe. Make a lot of these ones. No, I'm kidding.
Well, Olof, Elize, thank you very much. Definitely looking forward to see tonight more of Massive Addictive. I got a glimpse of that when I saw you guys play opening for Within Temptation in LA almost a year ago before.
Oh, right, yeah.
Almost
At
the album was
Yeah.
almost out.
Yes.
But definitely looking forward to seeing a more intimate setting. Last time was a huge theater in LA, so it's kind of different.
Yes, let's call it that. We can also call it a small-ass stage, but we're going to love it.
Yeah, it's actually very fun.
Yeah.
We appreciate both kind of stages. Actually, we probably appreciate smaller ones on this tour because we don't have a big production with us, so this is going to be better for everyone.